Alright, looks like we finally have visual. It's going to take me a minute. I can't see chat right now to get everything back up and running for this game. So if you'll just bear with us, it'll be just a second.
EA Sports. It's in the game.
Alright. Let's get that. Connect you. Connect you. Alright, so this should now do that. After much ado, time to take a quick look at Memphis's depth chart. Alright, Memphis. Ferguson, as we said, a fantastic average of 330 yards a game, 32 touchdowns, 5 interceptions through the air, and another 50 yards a game on the ground. Dorsis, 86 overall, gets 46 yards a game. Pollard, another 24. Not a whole lot from the halfbacks, although Dorsis, almost as much catching as he does running. Fullback, they're playing a D tackle and then a middle linebacker at fullback. I don't suspect they call fullback play very often. It is A. Miller, the award-contending 97 wide receiver, number 3, who gets 130 yards a game. Mayhew gets another 60, and another 65 for Kraft. Proctor is only at 17, so it's those 3 guys and Magnifico for 40. So they spread it around. It's not all Miller, but it's mostly Miller. Across the line, they've got 77, 74, 68, 86, 86, and the right tackle is injured, so the backup guard, LaFell, will be playing. Not a serious downgrade, except at awareness. That is a 30-point awareness hit, which is not trivial. On the defensive side of the ball, 86 and 77 ends, one good one okay end. They've got a good D tackle and a solid D tackle, but no depth. Hall is injured. I believe, I can't remember which one was probable and which one was out. Hall, it's either Hall or the right tackle, Joseph. I think Joseph might be playing. I think it's Hall that's actually out. But Akins plays middle linebacker. That's not a serious downgrade either. Middle linebacker, Avery is good and on a hot streak. Akins is good. They should be playing him somewhere, if they can be. And Dylan is good. Corners, not as good as linebackers, but still very good. I'm not sure why Lewis is third to Carter. Cook is a good safety, and so is Gonzalez. Solid legs, and this is a dangerous team primarily through the air. So if you give us just another minute, we'll be ready to kick off here.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome back to the stream. A little bit of technical difficulties, obviously. This ain't Tecmo Bowl. There are a few more bells and whistles to attend to in this process, but we're back on the stream. You see here the matchup between Memphis and Navy. Memphis with the #1 offense in the country with 530 yards a game, and the #1 passing attack with 389 yards. That's going to put Navy's 96th ranked passing defense to the test. I believe the game plan is going to be probably something along the lines of what you just witnessed, some desire to control the clock, limit turnovers, and keep Navy's offense on the field rather than Memphis's. #2 in points per game, 45.2, are the Tigers, just behind Syracuse. And those numbers could change, obviously, this week. You see 120th ranked rushing offense for Navy. That's a little bit unusual for Coach Ninja. He'd rather run the ball, but some deficits in some games have forced him on occasion to move from the run to the pass and try to win some ball games in that fashion. The rush defense, though, for Navy, pretty good. It's not going to get tested that much today. But it's potentially one of those games where if Navy, you see there at the bottom, the turnover differential, +5 and -6. If Navy can play even on the turnover differential this game, I think that might be the difference in the ball game as far as them being able to keep it close. They're going to need to execute and milk that clock. They're going to need to keep everybody fresh because their players aren't nearly as good. And you can bet that Navy is going to try to make this a quick game. Sometimes these games can go an hour and 15 or an hour and 30. I suspect this one might be an hour or less to its culmination. We hope, obviously, fans of the stream, that the midshipmen can come away with the victory. They are in desperate need at 3-5, making that push to try to get a bowl game. You know, a win against #4 would go a long way towards securing that. They're only 1-4 in the conference, with a victory and a loss. 2 victories and a loss in user games, supplying their non-conference schedule, minus the season culminating game, of course, the Army-Navy game at the neutral site in Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia. Looks like we're going to be getting kicked off here shortly. Coach is making the final preparations, and we are headed towards Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium in Annapolis. You see that 90 offense for Memphis, supplying them with the undefeated record. The Navy midshipmen close on defense. I talked to Coach before the game, and he said that he suspected he might be able to execute against this defense with some consistency. We'll see if that's the case. There's the numbers for you on points per game allowed. Memphis coming in with the 10th ranked points per game, 63rd ranked defense, and 62nd, just ahead of them, Navy on their defensive yards per game. Bonner, major player in the Navy offense. There you see Miller, the 97 Biletnikoff candidate, All-American Miller, wide receiver #3 for Memphis. There's the injuries the coach talked about. The left outside linebacker, Hall, will indeed miss the game. The right tackle expected to be in. He's listed as probable. Probable almost always plays. It's a sunny day in Annapolis. Coach is thankful for a lack of weather. see there the standings in the American West Division. Navy at the bottom, Memphis at the top. This would be a huge upset. A David and Goliath matchup. Coming to you now, the parachutist out of the sky, the team out of the tunnel, the cannons firing. Good support for the midshipmen today on this sunny day. A lot of alumni in the crowd. We've got a packed house. Coach making the early adjustments. We'll see how things play out here as we get underway. Memphis to receive the opening kick. Navy will get it to start the second half.
This one's going to be down in the end zone for a touchback. The Tigers and their coaching staff, Kirk, just happy to have a guy like this in the program. Their offense really clicks when he's playing with.
Well, I think it gives them the diversity that they're looking for. I mean, at times they're going to run the football, other times they're going to try to air it out. And when you have one guy that gets so much attention on the outside, it just seems to open up other aspects of their offensive attack. And
Memphis coming out with a spread set, single back in the backfield.
good plan. I'm sure we're going to see it again today.
Fakes the handoff, the play action pass out to the right side, and Proctor makes the catch. Tackled just shy of the first down. Going to be 2nd and 1 here on this opening set of downs.
They can pull it in and make something happen.
The dime man defense, and Navy is going to come up with a tackle for loss. It's a sack of Riley Ferguson. Took a good hit as several midshipman defenders covering the perimeter there. 3rd and 3 now as the midshipman defense gives them a chance. It's a spread set once again. Back to pass under some pressure. It's the slant from left to right. And Phil Mayhew coming up with a 15-yard catch. Going to extend the drive for another set of downs. Memphis still on their half of the field, but approaching the logo. Some pressure, and again, a spectacular catch this time. Proctor defeating the secondary, coming right to left this time, and Ferguson off to a 3-for-3 start for this vaunted offense. Ferguson's forced to run, gets stumbled in the backfield, can't escape the pressure, and takes a seat for a 4-yard loss. The dime normal for the middies. Spread set, 3 wide receivers, trips right. Breaks the first tackle and the second and the third. And finally pushed out of bounds before a user gets to him. You see him breaking the CPU tackles as 3 defenders unable to bring him down. There's Miller for 13. Anthony Miller making his first appearance of the day. Going to set up the Tigers with 1st and goal. Well covered by the defense.
Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you?
Second and goal from the 6 now. Navy taking maximum rest in the defensive huddle. Those extra seconds giving a breather to some of their defensive players. Jones cuts inside and flushes Ferguson. And they're going to call it a positive gain just barely. But Micah Thomas stopping him well before any progress was made. Now third and goal, no huddle. We'll see if Navy calls a timeout. They're not going to. They're going to take the play, and it's a screen to the right side. And he's tackled just shy of the goal line. Dorolan Dorcius coming up with a 5-yard catch, but the defense holds, and Memphis trots out the special teams unit.
Memphis could take the lead with this field goal.
Great goal line stand by the Middies, holding Memphis to just 3 on their opening drive. You see the score there, Marshall over Tulsa in conference play. A couple of teams with winning records. The Thundering Herd, of course, moved to the American Conference with our realignment plan as we increased the size of the Big 12 to 12 teams to allow for a conference championship game. We took 2 out of the American, Houston and Cincinnati, the 2 that we deemed most likely in real life. And, of course, they came out of the American. We needed to put 2 teams in there. The Thundering Herd, an occasional top 25 team. Was promoted into the conference. Multiple receivers on the opening play, and Navy gets the catch to Cologne. Going to be 2nd and 1, the 9-yard gain off of the middle slant out of the 5 wide.
It's 2nd and 1. Ball on the 34-yard line.
We've got an eye tight set against a 4-man front. Heavy jumbo package for the Middies. And up the gut goes Bonner. He gets enough, and it's a fresh set of downs for Navy. It's their first down as they look to move the ball down the field on this opening drive. Nice start there on the opening set of downs. They're going to come back with the eye tight. This time, a couple of receivers going out. We've got a wide receiver playing halfback 2 on the left side. Sorry, he's playing tight end 2. He's on the left side. And doesn't get the pass to him. It's an easy deflection for the defense. Now going to be 2nd and 10. Navy's out at the 35-yard line. We'll see what they do, if they can put themselves in a position to either convert or a reasonable 3rd down attempt, if they can get just some of this. Out of the wide trips to the backfield. Bonner out of the backfield makes the 4-yard catch. You saw the drag route wide open on the play, but Bonner, a trusted receiver for the Middies, coming up with a 4-yard play.
5 wide receivers split out. The quarterback in the gun.
Third and 6, nobody's open, and Lewis doesn't want to put it up for grabs.
The sack makes this a 4th and very long.
The Middies forced to punt.
Pollard fields it at the 38, and he was able to pick up some nice yards on the return. both teams come trotting back out onto the field. Memphis holds a field goal lead.
Ferguson back to pass.
He gets rid of that.
Incomplete there.
I think this quarterback's got to do a much better job of being able to read that defense and make quicker decisions.
Following the turnover.
Especially when the defense starts to get pressure, you've got to either get rid of that football or check it down or take off.
Navy's defense coming up with a big stop on the opening drive, holding them to 3. They're going to look for another
48-yard
response here from that defensive unit. Polu flushes Ferguson, and help arrives to limit him to a 6-yard gain. Now going to be 3rd down once again, and the no huddle again. We'll see what response we get out of the Middies defense here. They got a chance to get the stop. Over the middle, Miller, the all-star receiver, with a 19-yard gain. Starting to make a habit of making big catches downfield here in the early going. Good coverage by the defense, forcing 2nd and 10. An opportunity for Navy to get a little bit of rest here in the defensive huddle. Some of their line showing up yellow and orange. They're going to take the full 10 seconds. Come out here on 2nd and long.
Ball on the 26-yard line.
Polu getting into the backfield, but not quite in time. And Kraft makes the catch to the left sideline, picking up the first. Incomplete, multiple bodies in the way of that one. The midshipman had the right people in the right places. Going to get a chance once again to rest.
Second down and 10 to go. Ball on the 13.
2nd and 10, 13-yard line, the marker. Polu struggles to get free. They're going to call face mask on the tackle. That's a play you don't see every day.
So the offense will move a little bit closer with that penalty. First and goal from the 1, looking to punch this one in. They're crowding the line.
Back to pass goes Ferguson. It's a quick one. Dykes in the end zone, stretches the lead to 9. Ferguson off to a 9 out of 12 start. Navy getting into some 2nd and longs, getting into a couple of 3rd down plays, just coming up a little bit short. Miller making a few plays in the passing game on some key downs. We knew they had a lot of talent. And Navy now with another chance to respond here. We're in the early going, if you're just joining us. 1:53 remaining in the first quarter.
You know they'd like to do something a little more than they did on their last drive when they had to punt the ball away.
They've been beaten soundly on both sides of the ball.
Shotgun wide trips for the Middies. 1st and 10. Lewis tackled for 0. The blocking not quite what they wanted on that defender. He came loose a little bit too quickly, able to hold the play to no gain. So shotgun wide trips once again.
That is not
Chris High coming up with a 7-yard catch in heavy traffic. A play that Navy, it could have gone either way, but Navy comes up with a big early play there on the offensive side of the ball, going to give themselves an opportunity here to convert this third down.
They spread the field in the gun with 5 wide receivers.
It's behind him. Lewis, 3 out of 5. Picked a bad time to be inaccurate there, and Navy facing a 4th and 3. Going to be forced to punt. They've got 9 yards to Memphis's 124. And the defense, once again, going to be called to task. Regular followers know our teams are limited to 12 fourth down attempts during the season. Navy not really wanting to spend one there, not just from the attempts, but the position on the field. Didn't want to risk giving Memphis the ball in great position. Instead, it's back at the other end of the field at the 27-yard line. And the Middies hoping to get the ball back for their offense on this possession. Polu breaks free, flushes him, and the spy comes up with the tackle. Good defensive play by the Middies defense to get this drive started.
Because when you play defense, it's not just about X's and O's. It's about attitude and playing with a lot of confidence.
Polu causes him to step to the side, but he's able to get the completion. It's just enough for a first down. Not by much, but Proctor comes up with the 8-yard gain that's going to give Memphis a fresh set of downs. Ferguson forced to run to his right, breaks the tackle, but not the 2nd and 3rd. And it's a sack. That's going to terminate the first quarter. We're now into the second frame. Navy hoping it's a change of static environment. Makes the catch, breaks the tackle, but not the 2nd and 3rd. An 11-yard gain, going to be 3rd and 2. Memphis probably going to stick with the no huddle here, and they do. Navy coming out in the quarter. They're going to respond to the spread set. Back to pass goes Ferguson. Flushed again and not able to make the tackle in time. The CPU linebacker couldn't get up and cover the angle in time. Flushed again in the pocket and not able to get out. It's another sack for the midshipman defense on first down. Another 2nd and 13. These tackles for loss do force Memphis into the huddle. And when you're facing a no-huddle team, always a good idea to take advantage of your rest whenever you can. You see Navy taking the full 10 seconds again, trying to give that defensive line a little bit of a breather. Polu out to the right, keeps him in the pocket. He has to throw on the run. There's good coverage, and it's picked off by Llewellyn. If you like a good football game, boy, did we need that. Chad Llewellyn, the wide receiver, playing in the defensive backfield. Helps to have the good hands if you're a wide receiver playing in the backfield like that. 10-yard line, the marker on the left hash. Navy will see if they can put this momentum to use. Bonner getting 6 to get us started. We've got 6:50 remaining in the second. Remember, Navy gets the second half kickoff. The eye-tight formation. 4 down linemen for the Tigers. Lewis back to pass. Hits Carmona, but it's behind him. As Lewis, as we see, still not warmed up on the throwing arm. He's 4 out of 6, but he has struggled a little bit with some accuracy issues. Now 3rd and 5. And he needs to get that turned around here immediately. There's an audible by the middies. Looks like there might be a run up the gut. It is, and they get enough. Lewis with a 6-yard gain gets the first down and more. Now out to the 22-yard line. 5:48. There's the clock moving now.
22-yard line. First down.
Option up the gut, high, rumbling, bumbling, stumbling, gashing through the middle for 8 yards on his first carry of the game. He's one of Navy's higher-rated players, Chris High, the fullback. You'd expect a flexbone team like the Midshipmen to have a good fullback, and indeed they do. You'll see High all over the field at fullback, and in some formations, a lot of the shotgun formations, almost all the shotgun formations, he plays the tight end position for the Midshipmen. Almost kind of a Frank Wycheck H-back position for the middies. Bonner gets the first. Another set of downs as Navy attempts to matriculate the ball down the field.
It's first down. The middle for a nice gain.
5 yards for Bonner. He's up to 4 for 14. 2nd and 5.
And this play is number 8 on the drive.
Good hole up the middle, and Bonner over the left guard for 9. His longest carry of the day. Gets the ball up near midfield at the 47-yard line. 3:48 when the ball is placed. Navy with all 3 of their timeouts here near midfield.
From their own 47-yard line. First down. The quarterback in the gun. Empty backfield. 5 wide receivers in the formation.
Lewis over the middle to Carmona. Makes the catch from left to right on first down. Picks up 2, but more importantly, keeps Memphis guessing.
This is the 10th play of this drive.
Shotgun wide trips, it's the read option. Lewis off to the right side. He's off to the races. Picks up 16 yards. His biggest carry of the game. Puts the middies across the stripe. They're now down to the Memphis 35-yard line.
It's first and 10. Ball on the 35.
Twin tight end set. 4-man front for Memphis. Lewis on the play action, rolls right, and it's incomplete. Lewis now 5 for 8.
The worst thing you want to do is just to throw the ball into cover.
Now going to be 2nd and 10 from the 35. 2:21 the time remaining here in the first half. Out of the backfield is Bonner. He makes the catch on the right side, gets the first down and more. He was wide open there out in the flat, coming out of the backfield on the delay route. Memphis left him open, and Navy made him pay. 2:13 and counting. Navy still with all 3 timeouts. Now at the 22-yard line and marching. Wide open is Lee, the tight end, playing the slot position out of that shotgun wide trips. He hits the little out and then some, gets 5 or 6 yards after the catch. Going to be 1st and goal as he does a good job. It looks like he probably stayed in bounds on that, which is important because now we're under 2 minutes. We'll see if the clock starts moving here. Of course, under 2 minutes, if a ball carrier goes out of bounds, yeah, there's the clock moving. So they rule that he stayed in bounds. And that's a big benefit as Navy hoping to limit Memphis' scoring opportunity no matter whether they can get the ball into the paint or if they have to settle for 3. 1:40 now remaining in the second quarter. Lewis on the keeper gets 5. And now Navy can call just about anything they want. They'd be perfectly fine with a play for no gain. But you get the feeling that they'd take the touchdown just as easily. They are going to be able to get this under a minute before the snap of the football.
2nd down, goal to go. 2 yards to the end zone.
Twin tight end set. We see the ISO to the right side, the play call. There's the 6 points. They pull within 3, awaiting the extra point.
so conservative, it's made it pretty easy for both of these defenses to be pretty dominant. Let's see an offense open it up and take a few chances.
With 1 quarter down, I really haven't seen too much separation between these two squads. Might be neck and neck the whole way. Memphis.
We'll see the 2-minute drill for Memphis. They have all 3 of their timeouts. Ferguson back to pass. It's the screen to the right. And there's enough defenders there. They're going to keep him in bounds. We'll see Memphis with the no huddle. We'll see how Navy responds. Navy coming out. 3 down linemen. It's the quarter. Once again, 23 seconds. 21 and counting. It looks like they're either trying to catch him off guard or they're content to go into the locker room with the game as it stands. They'll probably hike it with just a second or 2 remaining and get 1 playoff. Good rush by Polu. Flushes Ferguson again. And once again, it's a CPU player that misses the tackle, but enough defenders there to contain him. That'll end the first half at 10-7. The number 4 team being kept off the field a little bit by Navy. That high-powered offense stopped on Memphis's opening drive where they were held to a field goal, and then additionally limited by Navy's offense just staying on the field. A long extended drive in the second quarter, ate up most of the second quarter, got Navy to within 3, and now with the football, they're looking to take the lead in this thing.
To keep running their offense as usual here. I don't think they need to feel any anxiety about trailing. Nice run, and he's brought down. From their own 31-yard line. Second down.
Twin tight end set once again for the Middies. You've seen it a lot today as they look to control the game, control the pace, control the clock. Bonner up the gut, picks up a couple. Now going to be 3rd and 4. Right hash of the 32-yard line, the marker. Spread set for the Middies. They're coming out with a shotgun normal. We've got High at tight end. We've got the tight end playing the slot, Lee. He's the one who's open, picks up the first down. Both he and High were open, but Lee, the safer bet, it was a shorter throw, would take less time to get there. Coach Ninja executing the third down brilliantly on 3rd and 4. Now after the 37-yard line here in the early going of the second half.
From their own 37-yard line. First down.
Lewis on the keeper. Picks up 7.
And picks up 7 yards.
Second and short. Following the solid run on the quarterback keeper.
They need about 3 yards to get the first.
The shotgun split big once again. Got some size in there. An adjustment at the line of scrimmage from Lewis. He keeps it once again, gets the first down and a couple more. It's a 6-yard gain over the left side of the line and a fresh set of downs for Navy. The longer they can keep Memphis's offense, that stunning juggernaut of an offense, off the field, the better. They're doing a good job of it so far. It's the option to the left side. Lewis keeps it and then pitches it late. Should have been a face mask call at the end of that play. They're going to let it slide. Looked like he brought him down by the iron there on that tackle. But Navy does get the first down.
First down, 10 to go. Ball on the 40-yard line.
Bonner out of the backfield, a lot of bodies there. They're starting to look for Bonner on that right side, but he did have enough space to be able to come down with the catch out of that shotgun wide trips.
34-yard line.
This drive so far about to take up half of the third quarter. Bonner up the gut. Plenty of green in front of him, and he gets 8. That gets him up to 50 yards rushing today. As Navy down to the 26-yard line. That's just about their field goal range. It's a spread set here on first down. They're looking for more.
Throws it in a hurry. He's taken down right around the 18-yard line. Nice pickup as they connect on the pass.
Cologne, his second catch of the day. It's an 8-yard gain, going to give Navy a beautiful second and short at the 18. They got lots of options on this play. Man in motion left to right. It's a quarterback keeper. Lewis stumbles but recovers. And he's down inside the 5. A 16-yard gain. Good hole up the middle.
Great blocking by 45.
Lee, having made a couple of catches at the tight end position, a little warmed up, makes a key block. The tight end coming down to crash on the left side. Down in close. First and goal. High picks up 2/3 of a yard. They'll call it 1. The midshipmen perfectly content to keep milking that clock. This drive started way back, a long distance. Navy's been able to milk a lot of the third quarter here. Right up the gut goes Bonner for 2, and Navy takes the lead for the first time today.
Ready to kick this one off. He just drills this one. This one's going to be down in the end zone for a touchback. Navy's continuing to play extremely tough defense. This has been impressive.
It's just been impressive to watch them play with such an attitude, almost a chip on their shoulder with the energy that they're playing with. I think it's going to require that kind of effort to be able to win this game.
This deficit can be easily overcome, sure. But they have to be thinking if they don't get something going on this series, the burden is going to be felt by their defense. Toss is left, intercepted. Number 14 makes the interception.
He seemed a little hesitant.
Navy is up by 4.
Flexbone once again for the middies. Lewis to the left side. Pitches it, and Bonner gets the first. Lewis avoids the contact. Anything it wants. Every coach's favorite down and distance. We like to use these plays to set up other plays. This one is a play that's been set up, and there you see Coach Audibles. He liked the look. He gets the first down. Picks up 4 yards. It's going to be the first down. Lewis now 9 carries for 48 yards as the field general for a very meticulous midshipman offense. They're hoping to put a turnover to use and extend this 4. Lewis keeps it, hangs on to the ball, picks up 7. It's now 2nd and 3. That could very well be the final play of the third quarter. We'll see if Navy likes the look they get. If they do, they'll run a play, and if they don't like the look, this is the time to go ahead and let the thing run out. Back to the midline QB ISO, and they're still keying on that back and not the quarterback. Navy taking advantage of it. That'll be the final play of the third quarter as we approach the final frame in this tight ball game. David trying to slay Goliath. Left to right across your radio dial, and so far, small ball paying on their opening drive of the second half and then getting the turnover just 2 plays afterwards. Memphis, for all intents and purposes, hasn't had the ball in the second half. Ferguson gets right to work. Proctor breaks the tackle, picks up a few more. Memphis going to stick with the no huddle. This is a team that's built for the 2-minute drill. This is a team averaging more yards per game than any other. They've been kept off the field, but no more. The offense back to work. Ferguson, an award candidate, looking to keep his candidacy alive, looking to keep his undefeated season alive. Memphis, of course, coming into this game 9-0. Navy at 3-5. As we mentioned at the outset, this would go an awful long way to get Navy a good bowl berth should they become bowl eligible with 6 wins. Another sack by the midshipmen. They've had several of those today.
Themselves out of a little hole here after the sack. It's 2nd and 14.
2nd and long now following that sack.
He fires this one. The senior
Miller making a big play, a 43-yard gain. He's been quiet in the second half just because of lack of action, but he does have 92 yards, almost half of Ferguson's passing yards. 6:37 remaining. Memphis already down to the 4. Ferguson scrambles, squeezes in between them, and takes it into the end zone. That's going to warm him up a little bit on the personal momentum side, and it's going to pull Memphis within 5. We'll see if they go for 2. They do bring out the regular offense. We see 4 wide receivers coming out. Memphis trying to draw within 3. Ferguson scrambles again, and again finds his way to pay dirt. All 8. Now Navy going to get the ball back. 6:32 on the clock.
He makes it out to maybe the 16-yard line. Navy's dreams are a reality in this football game. They've scored 21 points in a row.
After those 2 initial punts, indeed, following a couple of turnovers, Navy able to get 3 touchdowns on their previous 3 possessions. At this point in time, they may need 1 more to close this game out.
And he's taken down at the 19.
3 yards on the left side for Darrell Bonner. He's up to 67, a 4.8 average.
From their own 19-yard line. Second down.
Bonner out of the backfield on the angle route, gets 7, but not quite as many inches as he needed. Going to be 3rd down now, a key moment coming up here.
I don't have a fullback dive.
So
Must
it's
have a
third
fullback
down,
dive somewhere
and they're
else.
just inches away from picking up the first down.
There's that eye tight. It's the sneak this time. Lewis gets just enough. All the inches they needed. Fresh set of downs. Tick, tick, tick.
First and 10. Ball on their own 26.
Number 4, Memphis. Clinging to life. Navy with their foot on the throat. Lewis able to get the ball out of his hands. It goes down as an incompletion. Got the ball off just in time to avoid what looked to be about a 7-yard loss. That gives Navy an opportunity still yet to convert.
Second and 10. Ball on the 26-yard line. Navy is up a field goal.
Shotgun, split big, 2 tight ends, 2 running backs. It's a pass play. Lewis hits high, the fullback, out of the backfield for 5. Now facing 3rd down.
And so it's another 3rd down upcoming here.
They're going to take some time off the clock. We'll see if they hot route some of those receivers into smart routes here facing 3rd and 5, or if they're going to run the play as called. Lewis back to pass and hits high out of the tight end position. That H-back position that High plays. Not a superstar position, but he's very effective at what he does.
Right there, he showed you why.
Not a superstar position on most teams.
I'm not sure exactly how to pronounce your screen name. I'm guessing Therod or Thexrod. But I believe the response is Mountaineers. Let's go midshipman as well. Flexbone. Looks like it could be the triple option to the left. It is. Lewis keeps it, then pitches it. Perfectly timed. Bonner out to the left side. Makes a spin move. Picks up an extra few yards. Gets the first down. Stays in bounds. Huge play given the grand scheme of things. The spin getting him an extra 3.5, almost 4 yards. Excellent execution by Coach Ninja there on the play. A key play. Down to the 35-yard line go the Middies. Navy in a great position. Memphis gasping for air.
Play of this drive. Navy holds a field goal lead.
They stay in the flex bone. They change the play twice. And Lewis picks up an extra 5 yards, falls forward for 2 of them after contact. Tick, tick, tick goes those seconds off the clock. Under 3 minutes now. 31-yard line, 30-yard line, they call it. The marker on the left side.
And this is the 9th play of the current drive.
3 timeouts for Memphis, 3 for Navy. We're in the dying embers of what's been a defensive struggle in large part due to Navy's milking of the clock, keeping that Memphis offense off the field. Another quarterback keeper by Lewis. Memphis can't defend it. It's been a huge play in the second half here for Navy. As they look to not go to the well too often, you'll see a couple of looks to some other players, I'm sure. 21-yard line now, 1st and 10. And Memphis is going to have to start thinking about calling timeouts. Maybe not this set of downs, but definitely on the next. The give to the fullback up. They got Chris High, picks up 1. There's the first timeout. 2:15. 19-yard line. Navy can close this out with a touchdown. They don't want to be held to a field goal, but they'll take it if they have to.
From the 19-yard line, it's 2nd down. Quarterback all by himself in the backfield with 5 wideouts.
Hits the alternate look. Hits Craig Scott. Excellent play by the quarterback. Looked like the drag route, the favored route on that play, had a half a step. Maybe could have gotten away with the throw. It might have gotten tipped. Could have even gotten picked. Coach waiting on the play and hits the second look on that play. The 3rd wide receiver coming late on the slant from right to left across your radio dial. It's now 1st and goal. Navy 6 feet from putting themselves in excellent position to save their season. Memphis coming in with the number 1 ranked offense in yards per game. Number 4, undefeated.
You're just giving me this touchdown because they want the ball.
Bonner up the gut, and there's another touchdown. Memphis hasn't been able to deal with Navy's ground game out of multiple tight end sets, out of flex bone sets, and Navy rocking the Tigers' world.
knocked out of bounds. Around the
Opening play of this drive, and Memphis picks up 12. Now in full-on hurry-up mode, full panic mode.
he throws it.
Another completion for Ferguson. He has had 2 picks. He's going to have to take some chances on this drive. And Memphis, of course, will be playing from a desperate situation. They'll go to the huddle thanks to the play going out of bounds inside 2 minutes. That's going to affect whether or not they go no huddle here in this situation. If the if the game clock is stopped, they're very likely to go to the huddle and get a fresh play call. Not too many guys open until very late. Ferguson finds him. That's an excellent play on his behalf. Another opportunity to rest here. They'll take the full 10 seconds. You see that the right end on the left side of the screen in orange. Navy gets a few seconds of rest here before this next play. Polu can't quite get through, but there's nobody open. It's coverage that causes Ferguson to scramble. He picks up 3, but that clock, not a friend. They'll waste a down to save a few seconds. 3rd and 7. Of course, you know it's 4-down territory. Some coaches may elect to kick a 50-yard field goal to pull within a touchdown. But that's not a good situation for Memphis to be in. Big 3rd down coming here. We are going to see that long field goal attempt. It's going to be a 50-yard attempt to keep Memphis's hopes alive.
And they can make this a one-possession game with this kick right here. It's up, looks long enough.
He gets it.
You know, I was wondering if he's going to get a chance to kick one of those.
They needed that. It's a long one. He gets it by a few yards. That could have gone another 7, 8, 9 yards. That could have been almost a 60-yard kick.
Strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
The onside attempt. Navy's ready for it. Recovered by Brown. 122. And Memphis only has 1 timeout.
Either one of these defenses come up with a stop, just make a play. Otherwise, it's going to come down to who has the ball left.
You know this is a real crucial time in the game. It could still go either way. Just over a minute left.
Navy going to try to get 1 first down to ice this ball game. Big play by Lewis. He gets the first down. He hangs on to the football, and that will do it. That will do it, ladies and gentlemen. Memphis is going to call their last timeout with 1:17. We're going to see victory formation, and the Navy midshipmen, Coach Ninja's Navy midshipmen, come into this game at 3-5. Not too many people gave him a chance facing off against the #1 offense in the country. But they executed brilliantly. They didn't turn the ball over on anything but downs. They executed perfectly on defense, thankfully, because they didn't have to for too many plays. That offense milked the clock. It was a slow, plodding affair, but that's what they had to do in order to win. When you're playing an opponent that's vastly superior to you, that's what you do. They executed it perfectly. They won the turnover battle. We said going in that was going to be something that they would have to do in order to have a chance. They're going to come out of this with a 2-0 advantage in the turnover department, and they're going to knock off the #4 Memphis Tigers. They're going to ruin the perfect season of the best team this season in the American Conference. A huge, massive victory for the midshipmen. Lewis takes the knee. That's going to do it. As the players come off the sideline for handshakes, the crowd at Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium jumping up and down, going nuts. They're getting ready to storm the field. They've just upset the number 4 team in the country. Navy will move to 4-5. A huge jolt in the arm for their bowl hopes. They've, of course, got 3 games left. That last one, the rivalry game, the Army-Navy game in Week 15. But a couple of opportunities before that for Navy to become bowl eligible with 2 victories in their final 3 games. Huge upset over Memphis, 28-21. Coach Ninja happy, the league happy. It's a good feather in the cap here in this first season on J-Rod's Black Sliders. We'll take a quick look at the game stats. Give you the quick rundown here. As you see, Daryl Bonner, player of the game, 85 yards rushing, very effective in the ground game, picked up a few clutch catches. Navy able to convert enough third downs, avoided turning the football, and they're walking away with a massive, massive victory.
That's what Navy football's supposed to look like.
They used that twin tight end set to great effect out of the eye tight. They used a lot of flex bone, a lot of academy style football. They definitely used their personnel as best as possible. The ground game very effective against Memphis's front. You see there, 307 yards. They held Memphis to 262. That's well over 100 yards under their average, and 183 of it came on the ground for Navy out of their 307. The passing game for Memphis, as effective as ever, and they were 3 out of 5 for 60%. Navy barely beating them in the third down department, but they did get a couple of key ones in the second half. Of course, they had to punt on their opening drives, so they were 0 for 2 and then completed their last 4 third down attempts. The turnover battle there, as we said, 2-0. The time of possession in huge part on Navy's behalf. You'll see really where they were able to win this football game with 23 minutes to Memphis's 8. The story of the football game, the turnovers and the time of possession, and Navy, led by Garrett Lewis, who's 15 out of 19, a very effective game manager type game. Ferguson, of course, doing what he always does, except for those 2 interceptions. He was 79%, except for those 2 interceptions. A couple of big plays by Navy's defense in the secondary, and Lewis and Bonner, 16 and 17 carries for almost identical yardage, although Bonner picking up 3 touchdowns on the ground on close yardage plays. Out of the passing game, Bonner, the leading receiver in catches, with High coming up with a game-leading 30 yards receiving for Navy, and Carmona a big touchdown there in the second half. Several sacks by Navy's defense. Llewellyn and Thomas split one. Of course, Llewellyn, the wide receiver playing defense, got a half a sack and a pick. A really key play there in the first half. And Polu and Sales picking up 2 sacks each to lead the way for the Middies defense as they come up with 5 key sacks on Memphis. So it wasn't just about the clock. Navy actually also did come up with some big plays on defense, got Memphis into some hairy situations. On the whole, a great performance on defense, but an even better performance in the turnover department and in the time of possession. That was the game plan we talked about going into the game. That was the recipe that we thought it was going to take for Navy to get this win. Control the flow of the game, control the clock. Merchant there, 5 tackles and a pick from the cornerback position, the defensive player of the game for the Middies. We're going to show you real quick before we sign off next week's slate of games for both the Navy midshipmen, now 4-5, and the Syracuse Orange, now 8-2. The Orange could potentially crack the top 25. They come into the week ranked 31st, and they knock off number 16. We'll see what that does to the Orange. Southern Miss visiting Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium. That is a winning football team. That'll be a good game. And North Carolina visiting Syracuse. North Carolina, a deceptive 3-6. That's one of those teams that can make a bowl game, that can rip off a 6 or 7 win season. This season, not so friendly for them. Don't know if they won or lost this week. They'll either be 3-7 or 4-6. as they try to save a bowl berth for the Tar Heels. Syracuse at home, Navy at home once again next week. We'll bring you both of those games. Look for the alert. Thank you for your likes and your follows. Thank you for your participation and your viewership. As for real life, we hope you guys all have a hell of a week. Go kick its ass.